Welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. It is the 11th of March. It happens to be a Monday, and it happens to be the first day of daylight savings time, which means I lost an hour of sleep last night, and it feels compounded. It feels like it was more than just an hour somehow. The light, I had light longer this evening, so it kind of stretches my day out. And even though I lost an hour of sleep, now I have a longer day. It feels like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I'm dealing with it, and I hope you are too. If you have daily savings time, if you do not have daily savings time currently, I'm an hour earlier than I usually am for you. So let me kick off by saying we had one announcement and one announcement only today. I'll get into the specifics of that announcement, but leave it to say or it is enough to be continued on the pile of these sales with the bundles that seems to be a pattern. And I got some thoughts one way or the other, and I kind of have thoughts both ways, to be honest. But it seems to be a reality of the continuing on in Upland, and we'll look at how this one looks and how it works, behaves, and what the key times and dollar amounts are for you to keep in mind, and to decide how you want to participate in this sale. With a couple caveats, I want to give a couple caveats because we are also in the middle of a collection reveal week. We're going to be heading to collection reveal here in the next couple of days, and look at some reality of distribution of vehicles in Upland, because we are about to have some more cars sold. That's part of the bundle sale. So we'll get into all of that. I do want to put out that we are headed, and officially so, into the last month, starting to cruise into the last month of the first quarter of 2023. We've got some small things that may still be coming, could still be coming at the end of this month, and definitely can put out that we are about to end. That will be at the end of this week. Our first season, Frost season, our first season with gamified earnings, our first season with this new organization. So we'll get into that with some caveats that there are some important things to still know, even though it sounds like a review. We are headed into the end of the season. So if you're trying to get your gamified earnings earned, you have a few days left to do so. So we'll do those reminders as well. But to kick those things off, as always, all views and opinions expressed by myself, mine and mine alone, should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. All my views are mine, and they don't represent the game of the team of Upland. And if we do have guests on, they have their own opinions. They're welcome to them. They do not represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show, the game of the team of the Upland. It should be taken as game strategy or financial advice either. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Get that out of the way and get to some announcements. So, like I said, we've got one official announcement in the game of Upland. Let's go into it in detail. Let's have a little bit of, I don't want to say speculation, but let's have a little bit of constructive, constructive view, a constructive history on this, and then an idea of what it might look like moving forward here. Because ultimately, I think that it has done enough to present itself as a pattern, and it's definitely worth keeping in mind as we do other things in the game of Upland, as we have city releases, as we have things get sold. These bundles, these packages, these random grab bags seem to be something that is growing in prevalency, and as well as to some degree in cost and in what you're getting out of them. This is the travel bundle sale, is what this is called. Hit the road in style, explore Upland's exclusive travel bundles, dive into. They missed a pun here. They could have said drive into, but we'll leave it as dive. Dive into a new era of exploration and ownership in Upland with the debut of the first ever travel bundles, where the thrill of the open road meets the fun of property acquisitions. These bundles are designed to offer a comprehensive exploration package, including properties and a vehicle, and the UPX needed for minting. Well, this is interesting. Let's take a look. It's a unique opportunity to explore Upland's expanses like never before. So what does it mean for Upland to provide you the UPX need for minting? It's like what you've seen in these other sales before, where you pay an amount, a property gets reserved for you, you get the same amount of UPX as that property is going to cost to mint. You didn't actually buy the property in USD, you paid the USD, you got a reservation and an amount of UPX back, and then you have the opportunity to go and mint, and you choose not to mint, you end up with the UPX still in your account, and at some point that property gets unreserved or gets released, and somebody else can go mint that if they choose to do so. We've seen that in a few cases. We've seen that with the passes, with the exception that passes don't send you optics, but it's a temporary reserve that gets released at a certain period of time. Cities included. The bundles features properties from various cities, and this is kind of where the how do you choose to specify, or how do you choose to build your own Upland portfolio? How do you choose to specialize? I think that was the way I should have went in the first place. But how do you choose to specialize in Upland versus do you want to just be a generalist? Ensuring no bundle contains more than one property from the same city. Again, this is encouraging people to branch out and get in different areas. Keep in mind, if you get a property reserved for you, you would have to travel to that city in order to mint it. And let's take a look at those cities included. Again, the idea is to encourage players to utilize their vehicles for travel and minting. Hint, hint. This is called a travel bundle sale. Go figure. The cities featured include Bakersfield, Beverly Hills, Miami, Brooklyn, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Fresno, Kansas City, London, Los Angeles. Sorry, not Las Vegas. Los Angeles, Manhattan, and San Francisco. Manhattan, San Francisco. 2 cities that are sold out. That's interesting. That's very cool that those are on the list. London, it's an expensive city. It's been an expensive city. We got to get across the pond to get there. If you're traveling, it's hard to get there by car. This is a car sale. This is a buy cars, get cars. But we're talking about London, which you're going to have to get on a plane for if you are in the northern of North America. If you're in South America, you have to get on a plane for. If you're in Japan, you have to get in a plane for. So interesting concept that we're going international on this, but at the same time, it makes sense because ultimately the game of Upland's international players are international, and again, the properties that are available are international as well. The Miami properties featured in this bundle come from neighborhoods that were previously inaccessible. Now available exclusively through this bundle for minting. These neighborhoods include Bayfront, Government Center, Loomis Park, the Miami-Dade Community College. So these are, when we talk about these type of areas, the areas that you're minting inside a college district, sometimes those have additional by the perceived value. Sometimes there's additional perceived value. Again, no speculation on what the value of these properties will do. It's hard to tell. It comes down to, and it always ends up being where the market chooses to go on these. We've had some areas in the game that are associated with colleges go crazy, and some that don't. So keep that in mind. But the community college properties, Loomis Park, Government Center, Bayfront, these are all limited areas that I would say limited, obviously not collection, but these are areas that are going to give an opportunity to get into areas we haven't already gotten in the game of Upland. Theoretically, it creates a new class of player, or puts players into an area which they wouldn't have gotten into otherwise unless they participated in the sale, which we already saw when we are talking about South Lake Tahoe. This idea that you had to choose to participate in one element of Upland to participate in property sales in this area in Upland. So this is kind of a similar theory here. The bundles, we're offering a total of 4 different bundles, distinct bundles, with 2 tailored for players who are seeking to get their first vehicle. Again, a vehicle paired with properties, complete with properties, and 2 designed for those who may already have a vehicle and are looking just for some properties. Again, focusing exclusively on properties, no vehicles included. Upon purchasing a bundle, players will have the properties reserved for them for 1 week. And again, this is something Upland's doing a lot better. They've done it poorly in the past, or not as well, if we can say that way. But they've done this not as well in the past, where they will reserve a property indefinitely or for months at a time for somebody who decides they don't want it. Well, in this case, it's a week. If you don't mint it in that week, it goes back to the market, back open for people to mint who do want it. They'll also receive the UPIX necessary to mint that property. After the week-long reserve, any unminted properties will become available for public minting. Again, it sounds like some of these areas are going to be specialized areas. I'm sure there's somebody who will want to get in there, whether or not it's the person who has that property reserved in that area for them. A registration starts Monday, March 11th at 8 a.m. PT. Go figure, it's already started. A sale is going to happen tomorrow, March 12th, 9 a.m. PT. Keep in mind, if you are in a place that doesn't have daylight savings time, Pacific time in the U.S. does. So we just went through a shift in time. Right now, it is 8 p.m. If you are listening live, it is 8 p.m. or just after 8 p.m. Pacific time. Keep that in mind when you do look at timing tomorrow. I don't want people to miss their timing by an hour because they didn't know of the time change. The registration, again, is open now. Sales at 9 a.m. PT tomorrow. Registration ends at 8 a.m. PT tomorrow. And you have that time where you get information about where you landed in line to those random placements, again, sometime in that hour before. The road trip bundle here, let's take a look at these bundles. Road trip bundle, you get 2 properties in each of these bundles. The car is either a Series T or a Series 4. Similar value, not exactly the same. Similar value, Series T, Series 4. Collections, 12% of those properties in the road trip bundle are going to be a collection property. Price is $95. Again, you're buying yourself a car. You're buying yourself 2 properties. You're getting the UPIX to mint those properties. So it's a reservation with the value of the UPIX. And then survey says we don't know a lot about what the value of those properties are going to be. Theoretically, it's going to have some value in excess of what your purchase price is. I know that Upland tried to do that a little bit when we did these ETH sales, where overall it was randomized, but the value overall was more than the purchase price. That's an interesting concept. We'll see how it sugars out, because again, it's a random chance here. Somebody's gonna get bigger properties than other people. Somebody might get a higher UPX per UP2 property of the same size, aka it's a higher value property. That's what you're getting when you do these random sales. And there's some of these other packages, when we look at these bundles, we look at the pricing for each one, where it plays a larger role. It's like you're rolling those dice, but now you're rolling bigger dice, or now you're rolling dice for a larger stake, larger investment, larger prize type situation. So 300 of those bundles are available at $95. And again, this is interesting, USD and crypto. So if you bought some crypto 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, and you held on to it, and right now you're about to sell into USD to take your profit, or maybe you don't want to sell into USD, but you're holding on to a bag and you bought it a lot lower price. Guess what? It's not going to feel like 95 USD potentially. That's kind of why Upland has this tie with crypto, or why they have the crypto in, is the idea that if you like this one little run here, this run we're on, maybe you bought it 2 months ago, ETH has just about doubled in the last 2 months. So you could be sitting in a position where that doesn't feel like $95. So again, this is always a thing that you have other options to do with your money, and bringing crypto in is not transferring crypto from one form of crypto to another. Keep in mind, Upland is a different environment. Keep in mind that Upland's a game. There are ways to take money out of it, but crypto is a currency. You're choosing to spend it just like you would spend US dollars. Wanderlust bundle, properties 3. You get 3 properties in this bundle. You do still get a car. 28% of those collection or those properties end up being collection landmarks. There's 2 landmarks that are in there to sweeten the pot. So look at the pricing. Let's look at the number of these. Let's look at the breakdown. Mansion House in London is going to be one of the landmark properties. The Freedom Tower in Chicago is one of these landmark properties. I want to put a asterisk on these landmark properties. When we did the crypto sale, we speculated that they were going to have the enhanced value that we had seen an enhanced value when Upland was selling landmark properties in the past. That is to take the UPX per UP2, set it aside, and say, this has an enhanced value because this property happens to be a landmark. So now it's going to mint for a blank amount. It's going to mint for a lot more UPX. We're going to give you a lot of UPX for that landmark to account for the fact that it's very valuable. Well, that's not what happened for a lot of properties that were in landmarks in the last crypto sale. So just because The Mansion House in London may be a landmark. Freedom Tower is one I'm familiar with. Mansion House, I'm sorry, those in the UK, I'm not familiar with. But just because the Freedom Tower in Chicago is a famous structure, it doesn't necessarily mean that those mint prices are going to be ridiculous into the millions of UPX like we had previously assumed because of our knowledge with previous landmarks. So keep that in mind. But it is a draw. I mean, landmarks are a factor of prestige. A lot of them are in collection areas. You get a special structure, a unique structure for that property. For a landmark is historically something that makes a landmark. So the real world version of that structure potentially coming your way. So this is pretty cool that you can construct on that property and nowhere else. I appreciate that. 100 of those bundles, $350. Again, you can buy it in USD, you can buy it in crypto. There's no UPX equivalent to purchase into this bundle. So looking at the dollar amount, $350. Here's a thing that we did learn from the crypto bundles. The higher you pay, again, you're paying three properties. You're getting a car. We come up here, 3 properties in a car. Up here's 2 properties in a car. You have a higher percentage of getting a collection. These ones are likely going to be, if we take the whole bundle, we set them all out, we add them all together, and we divide them by the 300 properties that are in this bundle. The UPX value per property is likely going to be higher. That's why they reserved this higher amount. I wish that we had a better idea of where the distribution of these properties were, the value on average of a property that you'll pull out of this bundle. It would be helpful for me to make that decision for myself. I think there's other people it'd be helpful for as well. Keep in mind, there's people who are going to see this one here. They're going to see the 2 collections. They're going to 2 landmarks. They're going to see a higher percentage of getting collections. They're going to roll the dice and they're going to hope for the best. And realistically, it may work out for a lot of people. It may be something that people on the other side of putting $350 into this bundle are laughing. I don't know. I can't tell you the future on this. Speculation is just speculation, so long as you don't have a lot of evidence to back up that speculation. And to be honest, I've got very little on this one here to know what's going to be in there, other than the fact that it could be almost any city. It could be some new areas in Miami. It could be a collection. It could be a landmark. We don't know what you're going to get. It's a little bit of a gamble. Enhanced Traveler, buying 2 properties, 25,000, or sorry, 25% collection properties in the bundle, $52 USD. You get in USD or crypto, of course. Web only purchase. You can't do that on the mobile app. 300 of those bundles. So 300 of those bundles, $52 a piece. You get 2 properties, 25% collection properties. And again, we don't know where you're going to get properties. This is, I'm going to say this with 3 bundles in. If you're trying to broaden yourself in Upland, if you just want to roll the dice and see if you get lucky, this might be something that is interesting to you. I will be honest. I bought a couple. Sorry, I almost said a few. I bought a couple of the bundles in the east side. I did better overall than if I didn't participate. If I had gone and I mean, everything being equal, if I sat on that ETH for the 3 weeks or the 4 weeks, I would have been surprised to see how strong the bull run's been. But all that aside, at the time making the decision, the USD equivalent, of course, taking the USD equivalent at the time, I did better on that property coming out than what I had assumed the average out was. But again, that was just rolling the dice and getting a little lucky on that. I got a couple properties I was able to mint that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to mint. I like the properties I ended up with. There's a couple properties that I could have minted that I said, I'll rather take the UPX and go somewhere else with it, because I'm not that partial to that particular parcel, which again is a likely sentiment. When you're talking about these type of sales, you're going to get a parcel, you're going to get a property reserved for you, and it might not be your cup of tea, but you do get the UPX value, and you could just run off and do something else with that UPX. The Master Wanderer, you get 2 properties, and they say two larger and more luxurious properties. One would assume more luxurious means that you have a higher UPX per UP2 value. I think it's a fair assumption in this case, and that's an assumption I'm going to take. So you're going to spend $132 to get 2 properties as opposed to $52 to get 2 properties. Go figure. You have the same possibility, same probability of getting a collection. 25% probability of 25% overall of those properties are collection properties. Right here, 25% of these properties are collection properties. 300 of these bundles available, 300 of these bundles available. 2 properties, 2 properties. So per property, they better be more valuable in UPX than the properties that are up here. On average, again, randomization. Someone gets better, somebody gets worse, someone gets their favorite property. That's, it's a possibility. But more than likely, you're going to get a randomly distributed property that has a varying value that you may find you really enjoy, and you may find that you like the UPX better. There will be an old Quaker Meeting House in Queens will be a sweetener there in the landmarks. Again, total of 600 properties. Again, 2 properties, 300 bundles, 600 total properties. And of those 600 properties, one of them is a landmark, and 25% of those 600 properties are going to be a collection. Keep in mind on this, at $132, really, are we looking at these being 100,000, 200,000 UPX mint properties, and you're getting 2? We'll have to see. We'll have to see who gets lucky, who doesn't. Again, this is a roll of the dice. Upland hasn't told us what cities they're in. They haven't confirmed what size the properties are. They haven't confirmed what type of collections they're in. If they're in rare or ultra rare, there is some notes here on the ultra rare. When we come back up, the Master Wanderer, what really sweetens the properties here is one set of ultra rare, specific to this one right here, specific to the Master Wanderer, that kind of says this is why we're paying $132. We don't know if they're big properties. We don't know if they're, again, high UPX per UP2 properties, but in a small sense, they are. 7 lucky players will receive an ultra rare custom fire station property. Again, 7. There's just going to be 7 of these out of these 600. Rare custom fire stations collections property in Fresno. An ultra rare is still an ultra rare. You get an ultra rare out of this bundle, it's worth more than $132. As far as the market's concerned, the floor for ultra rares, again, speculation notwithstanding, it seems that is one of the sweeteners that justifies people going and buying. The hope is that there's some decent value there underlying as well. Good luck. This initiative offers an exciting way for Uplanders to expand their horizons, collect valuable properties, and enjoy the thrill of the open road. Whether you are starting your Upland journey or looking to add to your collection, these bundles provide a fantastic way to dive deeper into your Upland world. Get ready to explore a bit and make your mark across Upland. I do want to put a couple notes on here, a couple asterisks. Number 1, I did make up the point that theoretically my ETH is worth, or the ETH that I have now versus the ETH that I spent. The ETH that I spent would have been worth more now as ETH than it was at USD at the time, because again, if it was still ETH, I could go into the USD or exchange the USD or exchange another coin and be pretty happy with myself because it almost doubled in about that time. So it was kind of exciting to see that happen. But with that, that also means that if you're sitting on ETH and you were sitting on ETH, a month ago, and you bought that a month ago, you bought it even at a lower rate. Right now, you might feel like, hey, I don't know if ETH is going up or ETH is going down, but I've got enough ETH to justify spending $132 worth of ETH. Again, based on what ETH is currently valued at, or $52 worth of ETH if I choose to do that. So that's an interesting, concept here with Upland not necessarily being directly tied to crypto, but again, riding that wave or riding along it. And when crypto crashes, Upland's still Upland. When crypto goes on a run or crypto goes on a bull, you kind of can see that, where people who are in both worlds can see how, maybe it's not as bad to buy or take a chance with 0.05 ETH or 0.025 ETH as it would have been to open up your wallet and pull up $52, or open up your wallet and pull $132 out. And with that, again, this is the same thing. This is a gamble. I made this point before with the ETH bundles where people had been asking about and asking to and asking when and trying to make this point that they wanted to see um, a little bit of gambling Upland. They thought it was exciting. They thought it'd be cool. That's what Upland's been doing with these bundles. It's a gamble. It's 100% a gamble. You don't know what you're gonna get. They're not telling you exactly what's overall behind the curtain. Um, and when the sale's done, when people are reviewing what they've got, we can 100% say, "Oh, it looked like it was a great deal. I missed it," or it looks like it wasn't as great of a deal as I thought it might have been. But I can say from my experience and from people's experience across the board on the ETH side, on the ETH sale, it looks like it was relatively well balanced at the time. There was some value there. People got landmarks out of it, with the caveat of the landmarks, the asterisk that I want to put there. Don't necessarily assume that just because it's a landmark that it's going to have a extremely enhanced value in UPX, the mint value, which would again directly affect the dividends. Don't expect that's going to necessarily be the case. It's very cool to own a landmark. I still want to own one. It's still something that if I win a landmark and I don't have to spend 2 million UPX on it, I'd be pretty happy. Am I freeing up 2 million UPX to try to buy one of these landmarks that someone got lucky and got out of the ETH bundle? No. I'm not rushing. I'm not rushing to do that, but it would be very cool to own all the same. And also definitely worth putting notes on here when it comes to valuing, properties, is your UPX value of the property you're going to mint. It may be significantly more than what you paid in USD or the equivalent thereof. And you take it and you say, I won, and you don't mint that property. Or maybe that property is something you really like and you go and mint that property. Or alternately, maybe you get a property that's not highly valued in UPX, but maybe its value to you or to the community or whatever the case is more than mint price. For example, since we're talking about properties that aren't currently available in San Francisco, it is a sold out city, that aren't currently available in San Francisco. Some of those properties are going to fall in these bundles. And if you go and get a property in San Francisco, it might automatically, potentially, based on floors or based on what neighborhood it falls into, how limited properties are in that neighborhood, based on the current floor setting in that neighborhood, you may find that property is worth significantly more than mint at current market value. It is possible. It is possible that adding more properties into an area that's already minted out could affect the overall floor. Again, it is a broad and it is a deep reality when we start to talk about market setting and floor setting and what factors exist when we talk about demand in a variable market. But it is an exciting dynamic that you can get a property in an area that is currently sold out at mint price, and theoretically Upland's giving you that mint to buy that property, to mint that property. And who knows, we could have some real superstars of properties that are being given out this way. The better the properties are in these bundles, in my opinion, the more likely I am to go and purchase them in the future. I put a lot of money into Upland recently with my car showroom sales and buying some of the ornaments. I don't know how much I could put into this one this time around, but if it's something you're considering, definitely do that idea, that gut check, that can I afford to put the $132 in the Upland right now, or $52 in the Upland right now, not knowing if I can flip those properties. Don't buy them thinking that you're going to get an instant flip. Don't think that you're buying a lottery ticket that's going to pay out because you're lucky and you earned it. But if it's a $52 or $132 that you can afford to invest in game, aka when I say invest, put into a game that you want to play for the enjoyment of it solely, and not thinking that you're going to get the $132 or the $52 back anytime soon, it might be something you want to put the money into. And who knows, maybe you get lucky, maybe you get something that you can flip out of quickly and easily and make a profit. We don't know what's going to happen, but I always like people to start with the idea of, if that doesn't happen, am I okay with just getting that property, or am I okay with getting less UPX back than I think that I should have based on the amount of USD I put in. Keep in mind, people, when they look at the market, the 1,000 to 1 ratio is not something people normally think about anymore. But it is definitely something that is up to an individual interpretation, what they would see as a big win. And again, if you woke up tomorrow and that $52 wasn't in your wallet, and it wouldn't be a big deal, it wouldn't harm you, and you want to see what you get, definitely. It sounds like it sounds like it's an easy decision for you to make at that point. And good luck in making it. Again, registration's open on these currently. There are 4 different bundles for you to choose from. And of course, if you are getting one of these bundles because you need to get a car, and you need a car because you just saw what happened with South Lake Tahoe, and you really want to make sure you have a car for the next city like this, or you still want to get a South Lake Tahoe because you know that the collection reveal is going to happen on Thursday, and you want to be in, there's multiple properties still in town and blah, blah, blah. You want to be part of that collection reveal or in post collection reveal. Guess what? There's cars on the market now. There are these places called showrooms, car showrooms. They are meta ventures. You're buying from a player where you can go and buy an UPX if that is something you want to do. Again, that doesn't distract from the fact that this is a USD only sale. Again, USD or crypto. This does not distract from that fact that it's USD only sale. But if you are seeing this sale and are piqued your interest, and you are not in a position to spend USD because you're not in a position to spend USD. A lot of us aren't at all given times. But you do want to go ahead and get a car because you haven't gotten one yet. Take a look and see what's out there and available. Use the directory. Come right on down here. Take the short walk. Go down here to the lower right-hand corner to our directories. Go over to our directory. We can go click on shops. We can go over here and we can go in our shops. We can go in here and we can go car showrooms. And then we can go and see a friendly neighborhood showroom and go take a look. Or we can go into our asset search. We can go into vehicles. We can go search here. We can go into set prices in USD or UPX. We can sort. Again, by A to Z, by Z to A is not super helpful, but maybe this is helpful. Maybe price low to high is. I want to go see the lowest on the market. I want to see it in UPX. I want to go apply and look at. I see these carts down here. They're cheaper than cars. This is a big thing that I had the aside that I made a point of last week, and it hurt a lot of people's feelings because they didn't know this. Carts are not cars. It's been said by Upland a few times. We always try to remind people when they're going to buy a car that they're buying a car. A car is for racing on a track. It has a lower top speed. They're fun to drive. I love racing carts because it means that when I go into a race against somebody else who has a car, regardless of what their cart looks like, it'll have the same stats as mine. It'll behave the same way. It's my racing that is more determinative of the outcome. Again, there's some skidding ratios that happen based on a little bit of random luck. But for the most part, my input is going to be a bigger determinative factor of that race outcome than it would be if I had a mismatched value of my car. If I had a faster car than you, or you had a faster car than me, either of us could win, but one of us has a better chance of doing so. Since we have cars with the same stats, obviously that makes it a more even fair race. So if I come down here and I start seeing cars, look at that, there's not very many carts at the bottom of the market. That's always fun. So on the USD side, I can see I can go mint this nice Series 4 to $47.25. Not mint it. I'm sorry, I'm buying it on secondary. Would have to travel. I'm going to that was on UPX, huh? But I'm going to, and I'm going to start at 35,000. But I'm gonna go and travel to the location where that is. I'm gonna go buy that if that's something I choose to do. But here we go. His cars, 100,000 UPX. That's the lowest car. I'm just verifying. The 100,000 UPX is the lowest car on the market. I've got a Series 4 here for 110,000. So by my math, that series, that 2023 series 4 at under 100,000 UPX, that's probably the floor of the market by a little bit. Your opportunities to go buy it there are $47 in USD side. If you really just need a car, if you don't have the USD to go buy the bundle sale, but you need that car, this is a way to do so. Keeping in mind that this is a part of the player economy, you are technically supporting other players when you go and do so, other showrooms, and it does create the opportunity or the necessity to travel between cities to get to the city where this car is listed. But for a difference of 10,000 UPX, it might be worth the travel for you to go and see where this car is listed, so that I can go and purchase it. Again, because it's listed, because it has a price, it's going to be at a specific showroom. And if it's at a specific showroom, I can go and locate it on the map. I can locate it on the map at Holliswood Motors. Look at all those cars. That's a big shop. So I can see at Holliswood Motors that this car is sitting right there on the showroom. And I have the opportunity I have to travel in, of course, to Queens. I have the opportunity to go to Holliswood Motors to go and purchase this car if I choose to. Again, the lowest price car currently on the open market in an Upland showroom. So that's a key thing there. And again, by using this short search feature, if I'm looking for a specific vehicle, I can go and look at that. I can sort if I want to for here. So I just want to highlight that there is a car economy that already exists in Upland. If you are not going on the USD side, there is the option in OPEX, which again, this sale is solely in the USD side. And if you want to guarantee what type of car you're getting, what color, if you want to get a certain mint number, buying on the secondary market is going to give you a guaranteed or going to give you a more of a direct way of picking out what you want to end up driving home in. Easy enough. Ooh, look at that. I don't know. It's a 1E. Prices are coming down on some of those. That's interesting. But always notice, if we look at our pricing, we can see that because it's an open market, because it is set by players, because these people are listing their own assets, we can see a variety of pricing that comes up on these. So definitely keep that in mind. Do the math, do your research. Don't buy one that's too much money for you. If there's one that's the next city over that's half the price, maybe, just maybe, it makes sense for you to go one city over and buy the one half the price. That's my piece on the car side of things. On the property side of things, again, this isn't a random opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to make a choice if you want to participate or not. Again, people just enjoy that. If that's part of the game that you enjoy, you want to be surprised about where you're getting a new property, that is an opportunity you have. There are many cities with still mintable properties, so definitely do your math there. But if you want to come into the game of Upland, do a little splash, throw a little USD around. You've got that bag of ETH that you want to go and, I don't know, you move into different places. You could definitely do so into Upland right now. And maybe we'll get some new players out of it, just like the original ETH sale. Maybe we'll appeal to somebody who hasn't put money into USD yet. They're sitting on that ETH. The ETH's worth even more than it was just a month and a half ago, and they maybe can make it go a little further. Maybe they buy two of the bundles because it's not as, or because it's, again, the ETH is worth twice as much. The USD consideration, half as much ETH goes into it, and they end up getting two bundles. I don't know, but it is an option that's there for people with the consideration that no guarantees on that. So easy enough on that. Do want to go over the couple things that we're looking into later in this quarter. We're going to be headed into the end of the quarter again. The end of March is the end of the quarter. A couple things to keep in mind. We did know that Spark, the allocation of Spark, the utility of Spark was supposed to be something that was being addressed and looked at up to or headed into or headed towards a Sparklet announcement. That was something that we were talked about all the way in the beginning, middle part of December. We talked about it, or was talked about by the team when we were headed into the first quarter of 2024, where we know that we're going to be getting more information, and that's going to be a strong part of the game moving forward. And it was something that Upland asked the community to comment on in the form of Reddit post, and they did, and the community had thoughts, and we haven't yet had that discussion. So that is something that we expect that could happen this quarter. We did see the travel utility come into the game, travel between cities. It seems to be working. Upland didn't make a modification, or is making a modification officially tomorrow, which is to bifurcate North and South America. Should have been done in the first place. They meant to do it in the first place. If you looked at what they had originally said, they said North America is one continent, South America is one continent. You can't get there by car. There may be some way to move your car between continents in the future, boats, or I don't know, a cargo plane that can take a car. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But as of right now, or as of tomorrow, that separation between North and South America is going to be hard and fast. I can't take my car and I can't put a little snorkel on it and go across the Atlantic and go over to the UK, because you can't usually do that. So keep that in mind when it comes to cars. They are locked to land. They are locked to continent masses until there's some other way to unlock them or to travel in between content masses. So definitely worth considering. And they do not move in our wallets anymore. You have to allocate where they are when you purchase a new one, and then you have to move them as you travel between cities, as you drive between cities. Your car is going to move along with you. And if you leave it in a city, you get on a plane, you fly somewhere else, you take a train, you go to the next adjoining city, your car stays behind and you have to go back to it if you want to pick it back up. So definitely want to keep that in mind with the current cars, with a consideration that we may be having more utility with cars to come up in the not so distant future. Keep that in mind. We know that we're going to have stacking and layer of that utility. We're going to have the potential of cargo being transferred by cars. And with that, I want to make the quick note. I've done this reminder a few times. I'll do it again. People were shocked, surprised, dismayed when they could not move their cars by wallet any longer. We were told at a certain point that was going to happen. People did not get a good warning, a long warning, anything they could action or take action upon prior to that being locked. However, we knew what was going to happen eventually. I make the same appeal about things that could potentially be cargo. There's no information out on the idea of timing. There is the concept that Upland has discussed that it will happen eventually at some point. Seeing what happened with cars, map assets, maybe eventually could be locked to properties and could only be moved by car, potentially. Would give us more utility of cargo vehicles. It's been something that people have been talking about and wanting to do for a long time. But if you've got a bunch of map assets on the opposite side of the globe and you want to get them to your showroom, it might be the time now. Or if you are in a position where you've got all of your map assets sitting on one of your properties and you really want to decorate and you just haven't done it yet, and you just been, I don't know, I'll decorate in June, separate them, put them in different cities, get them over to places where you want them to be, because I don't want to be surprised again, personally. I don't want to be surprised again with a flash announcement that, oh, by the way, you can't move your assets any longer, just like we had with cars. It's good to consider that is something we were promised would happen eventually. We don't know how close eventually is, but it is definitely worth the consideration at this time. And again, I would kind of put that out there just as a matter of public service announcement, as a matter of being extra cautious, and with the caveat that I don't know if it's going to happen next week, next month, or next year. But we did have had some inkling or some indication from the team that they're continuing to work on the utility for cars. That brings me to an important point here. We are almost done. It's almost over. The first season of our new gamified earnings. We're almost there. We've done it. Most of us have gotten at least 3 or 4 or 5 tasks done. We know that starting in Blossom season, everyone gets kicked down to 4.9% earnings, and getting kicked down to 4.9% earnings, it's not going to be great, but we have an easy way to get up from that 4.9% earnings, and that is going to be by having these tasks that we can complete. And the more of the tasks that we complete, the higher we are on the earnings scale here. Again, starting at that 4. Let me see if we actually can see it. The 4.9 annual earning rate, which is what we all have starting in Blossom season as our base. And then we complete tasks along the way. One task, 1.2 times multiplier. Two tasks, 1.5. You complete three, that's a 2 times multiplier. Again, 2 times 4.9 is 9.8%. Four of those tasks is a 2.5% multiplier. 2.5 multiplied by that 4.9 gives you 12.25. And of course, if you finish five of these tasks that are offered to you, we'll take a look at those tasks if you're not familiar. Five of these tasks that are offered to you, you got 3 times multiplier, getting you back to 14.7% annual earning, which was where we've been for the last year and a half. So we haven't lost earning. We don't lose earning through gamified earnings if we do at least 5 of these items, these tasks, this period. Again, the 45-day period is about to end. If I come up here real quick, quick reminder, we did start frost season on February the 1st. On March 15th, it is coming right up, guys. Let's take a look at our calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4. End of the week. The end of the week will be out of our frost season. 15th is the last day of it. We had 42 days in frost season to earn our way or earn our multiplier to get up to a annualized rate of 14.7%. But that period of time is almost over. So definitely do invest the time if you haven't gotten there yet. We've got a bunch of listings here of options here to get there. Mint 3 properties during a season. Buy 6 properties on the secondary market. Purchases only, no swaps. Again, I've done both of those personally. Participate in 5 multiplayer races and win at least 2 of those races. I've done that this season. Log in 25 days during the season. Check. That's done. That's daily check-in. So that's not consecutive. So out of 42 days, log in 25 of those 42 days. Okay, I did it. It's done already. 7 consecutive days. That is logging in every day to get your spark bonus. At the end of the week, you get your 0.01, 0.02, 0.03 spark bonus. If you get there and you do that during the season again, starting on the 1st of February again, 7 days consecutive after the 1st of February, and then get your spark bonus, you're going to get yourself one of the tasks completed. Visit 5 different cities. I've done that this season as well. Apply a frost ornament to a property for at least 3 weeks. I did that as well. Complete the construction of 5 different models of structures. I didn't do that. Complete 3 competitive treasures. Collect 3 competitive treasures and treasure hunts. I didn't do that. I did get 5 standard treasure hunts. That wasn't too hard. And collect 3 property collections for the first time. I did that because we had a couple cities releases. I both in Stockton. I got some collections in Stockton, and then I don't have a collection yet. I do have a collection reveal later this week. Theoretically, I could get a collection for the first time in South Lake Tahoe on Thursday before the end of this season. So that's there on my side that I could do if I hadn't gotten there yet. And then to get the gift, the gimmick, the tool of this announcement was I can come up here and I can go and make sure I'm not capitalized, because if I'm capitalized, here we go. If you're capitalized when you do these search fields, it doesn't work. All has to be lowercase. Again, it's a silly thing. I've done it before. I've had auto capitalization on because whenever you go to type a word, it assumes the first word you type is capitalized. So it looks funny. So I can look at anybody's status. Again, it's a blockchain game, so it kind of makes sense that our usernames are, kind of open for people to look at and do research on. So I'm not too hurt by it. So let's take a look. I have minted 3 properties. I've bought the 6. I've won the 2. I've raced the 5. I've done the 25 days. I've done the 7 days. Visited 5 cities. Did I complete 3 total structures in cities? No, I did not. In different cities. Did I complete a total of 5 different models? I did not do that. Let me see if we can get this to slide over for us. There we see. There's my slider. There's my slider. Get her to slide over here. A little bit. All right. What else do we got here for categories? Did I collect the competitive treasures? I did not across the line here. So we do see that. We do have that ability of verifying here. And I want to verify and I want to make sure, and I got to do this here. I gotta pop this out in order for it to work correctly. I think that sometimes happens to me. Now I can do my slider. Can I? There we go. Knew I could make it work. So I get to the end here and I see that I have collected 9 points. Again, there's a total of 13. If I had collected them all, I would have gotten that 15.2%. I would pat myself in the back, or the community might pat me in the back. I didn't get there. I'm not going to get there. I got a couple days left. And no, I'm not going to get there. I could do it, but it would require me putting some effort in that I'm not going to put in. And I'm plenty happy with my 14.7%. To everyone who's earned the 15.2% in Blossom season who've already done that work, congratulations, did a great job. Again, some people made a game out of it. Some people almost got there naturally, and they just said, I'm going to finish off the last 2 tasks or whatever the case is. But I got to 9 naturally. I would have gotten to those 9 without being prompted. And that's kind of the appeal here, that it's really not that hard. It's not that hard if you're playing actively in daily. Maybe I play more than other people do. I'll take that argument. But if you're playing actively in daily, if you're enjoying Upland for means other than just to sit on properties, put my hands behind my back, and wait for those properties to give me dividends, then I'm probably doing some of these activities anyways. Maybe not 9, but 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And again, there's scaled multipliers. If you can only do 3 of the tasks, you are still getting a benefit for completing 3 of those tasks. Again, 3 of the tasks, 9.8%. But if you're completing 3 of those tasks, you can look on that list and see if there's 2 more you can do to go from 9.8 to 14.7. It's that simple. It's 2 more tasks to do. Maybe I just need to log in for 25 days over the course of 42. After I've done the 7, maybe I'm not doing every day. Maybe I get the 7. Maybe I find a way to log in a total of 25 days. Maybe I go and travel to 2 more cities. Maybe I have a car and I can travel into 2 more cities, or I can take the bus and train into 2 more cities to check those off the list. Maybe at this point it's too late, but maybe if I was right at the end of the season, I could sneak a couple things. And like I said, I could mint 3, I can buy 6. Those could be snuck in at the end if you haven't got to them yet. But the things like you have to do for 21 days or 3 weeks for a frost ornament, too late for that. You have to do it early in the season. Collect 3 competitive treasures. I can do that today. I could go and try my butt off. Again, it's a bit of a skill, but I could go try my butt off and get 3 treasures and check that off the list. So keep in mind, you're not out of the running yet. You got a few days left. If this is something you have not actively participated in and you want to do it, the multiplier is going to kick in, is going to be in effect in Blossom season, which means starting on the beginning of Blossom season, we have a couple week reprieve before Blossom season ends, or starts, I should say. The end of Frost season is the 15th. The start of Blossom season is the 1st of April. We'll have an April Fool's Day joke for a lot of people. And the April Fool's Day joke is, if you really weren't paying attention over the course of the last month and a half, 2 months, last 2 months when this has been discussed, you're going to be surprised that your earnings may go down if you haven't completed 5 of those tasks. So, April Fool's Day joke, not April Fool's Day joke, people will be surprised, people will be shocked when they come in the middle of April and say, what happened? Why are my earnings down? I thought my earnings used to be blank. Why are they lower? For those people who aren't paying attention actively, this is the first time you've heard it. This is part of revamped seasons. This is part of gamified earnings. Your new ratio, your new rate, your new dividends is 4.9% annually is your return on properties held. Keeping in mind that is subject to change, that base earning, but the multipliers for completing tasks is a new part of your season activity. It is encouraging people to be active in the game of Upland and rewarding the people who, like me and many others, were already doing those activities without being prompted. It's just a way of saying, okay, you're an active player, you continue to be active, you're going to get a bonus for it. And again, it does increase the activity for certain people. The people who weren't naturally doing 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 of those tasks on a 2-week or within a 2 or 3 or 4 week basis. But for the people who were doing it anyways, they don't have to do any more than they were already doing. They keep the 14.7%. They can do the stretch goal, get to the finishing all the tasks, and get the 15.2, which a number of people I know did. And again, last time I'll say it, congratulations to all of you I know there's some people in the audience here, but congratulations to all of you who put the extra work in and got the check mark and earned that 15.2% earnings into Blossom season. And with that, I do want to touch base on one more thing, definitely worth doing. I like to hit these when we're in those periods, and the period we're in is speculation period. We're in speculation period for Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, I should say. So South Lake Tahoe, we're in speculation period. The original mint was last week. Last week, March 7th, 9 a.m. PT, the release of the city happened. About 13,000 properties in the city, 12,000 were available for mint. 1,000 of them are still reserved for this reserve passes, these passes where you have properties reserved for you. Those are sold, but they're on the market. You can purchase them. The snapshot is coming up. That all said, we have a reveal coming up. The reveal is coming up later this week. The reveal is going to be on the 14th of March, 9 a.m. PT. If you are sitting on that car, you get that car, you're going to go buy that car on secondary. You're going to get that car from the sale tomorrow, and you want to drive somewhere. You could drive to South Lake Tahoe, and you can go mint some properties because there are properties there to mint. They're not cheap necessarily. What's on the floor right now for unminted properties? If you are looking at going into South Lake Tahoe and trying to scoop up a collection, there's already been a lot of people who've gone and done it. But we always, with these vanillas, get surprised. So you could go mint properties tomorrow and be surprised on Thursday if they hit collection. So keep that in mind. It is open and variable to mint. And of course, if you minted properties, you're probably sitting and waiting, and maybe you hit collection, maybe you don't. Or maybe you go and move your car with your little block explorer into South Lake Tahoe, wait for the information to come out like we always have, where you hear that we're a couple minutes out from, typically 5 minutes out from the collection reveal. We are going to lock all of the unminted properties that are in collection and re-release them with a modified earnings or modified mint prices as well, modified earnings, modified mint prices, and then go race to go mint those, which is going to happen. Again, 9 a.m. PT, that's when the collection information is released. At 9:30, all of those properties that were unminted, that were locked and held temporarily, that were repriced based on their collection multipliers, those will go back on the market, and you have the opportunity to purchase those 9:30 a.m. PT on Thursday. Again, this is a culmination of a vanilla city release. You wait a week, you get the collection reveal, and then you have these different activities which people engage in, which race to mint the ones that came on in collection. People buy, sell, speculate throughout the week heading up to, and then of course people try to scoop the floor if somebody left a collection property on the floor in the city. And I will put that point out there. If you have properties in South Lake Tahoe and you think it's possible that you have a collection, you may want to take it off the market just in case you hit collection. If you are certain you have a collection, you may want to take it off the market in case you hit collection, because it may be a different collection than you hit. But who knows? Maybe you want to sell it this week because maybe you think it's or maybe the person who's going to buy it from you thinks that it's going to hit a better collection than it hits, or thinks it's going to hit a collection it doesn't hit. So it behooves you to play your strategy, whatever your strategy is this week. The collection reveal, when it happens on Thursday, does change or shift the market, because it can change and shift the earning potentials on properties by affording and creating the opportunities to put properties into collections. So with that, I do want to remind people that there was a couple special things on that. The passes, as I mentioned, let's get down here to the passes. The snapshot's going to take place on the 15th, so keep that in mind. Between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT, as I mentioned, those are on the secondary market if you want to purchase those from Variety Legit shops. Hold on to a pass between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT for that snapshot. Once the snapshot is done, players will get details from Upland by email, typically, of what property has been reserved for them. And keep in mind, Upland's not dropping you the UPX equivalent. This is not like that other bundle sale. You have to go and spend your own UPX to mint that. You can choose not to. If you choose not to, that property will only be reserved for you till the 18th of March at 9 a.m. PT. You choose not to mint it by then, it gets opened up and released to the public. And then you have one additional day till March 19th at 9 a.m. PT to build the structure if you choose to on those properties that are reserved for the sale, reserved for the pass sale. So 80% of the properties that were reserved for the pass sale are applicable for this small townhouse, townhouse that is designed specifically for Tahoe, small Tahoe townhouse. So you could get it built or started anyways before the 19th at 9 a.m. PT. And if you don't, you never can because it's going to go away. So definitely worth keeping that in mind. Again, this pass sale already happened. They're available in the secondary. They are all sold out otherwise. So with that, tomorrow we do have a sale. Keep that in mind. Registration's open. Do so if you choose to do so for the bundle sale. And like I said, I cannot recommend that people or any person sees a particular amount of value in these bundle sales that are in USD, so long as we don't know what's in them, or don't have a strong idea of what's in them. That said, if it's something you want to do, more power to you. I have gone on the ETH sale. I've spent ETH on them. I've gone and purchased random bundles from Upland that I don't know if I'm going to get the rare one or the less rare one. I've bought bundles from Upland in USD that might have the style or the size of structure that I want for structure ornaments. I've done that. So definitely not telling people not to. Definitely just know what you're getting. Don't feel hurt by it. Don't spend money that should be going towards groceries and being surprised when the property you got may not be able to be sold for as much USD on an instant flip as you had put into it. Again, simple sentiment. You're buying a bundle with a chance of being something. You don't know exactly what it will be. You'll get something out of it, but you may not get what you want or expect. Just keep that in mind. And as long as you do, this is and can be a fun way to expand your holdings in the game of Upland. It can be, and sometimes or often is, a way of discovering areas in the game that you didn't know existed. And it may be an opportunity to get a property in Manhattan that you never had the opportunity to mint because you just came in the game 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year and a half ago, and you've never had an opportunity where you were floating around Manhattan and got a chance to mint. But again, this could be your opportunity. Just random variable could be your opportunity to do so. So with that, good luck if you are going to participate tomorrow. Keep your eyes open because I think there is an announcement that will likely be coming around the bend here with Upland. And of course, as always, if you've been following along, thank you for doing so. We're live in the cafe Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PT, with a note that we did just have daylight savings time, so time may be different from where you are now from what it was last week if you don't follow daylight savings time. And of course, as always, if you are following along in Discord, the Upland Discord Cafe, thank you for doing so. Feel free to unmute your mic, and the floor is yours.